Albania, the eagle has landed and it has delivered us our first song confirmation of Eurovision 2020. This is after FiK 58 Festivali Kenges in Tirana. Shall we talk about it?
Let's do
Do
this.
this.
Yes, Arilena Ara, winner of the X Factor, has won Festivali Kenges. Her song Shah, that is swear, as in a swear word, is how she swears when she is not with her beloved. She is feeling the pain. To me, she looked like a dominatrix mated with Cersei Lannister from Game of Thrones. It was very futuristic, yet somehow dark and throwback, very fantasy. Yeah, for me, this was an example of staging, elevating a song. The studio cut is fine, it's very good, but I think with the staging, it was more impactful. I think ballads are not in short number at Eurovision. So we will hear lots of other ballads as well, and that gives me pause for concern. However, she's a masterful vocalist. She clearly has a good stylist, and I think they can do something with this at Eurovision. Porig.
Yeah, well, there's no way to go like paint it otherwise that Arilana wasn't a fan favorite with the international fans. But when you look at her song and you compare it to the likes of One Night's Anger from 2014 or Fairy Tale from 2016, there really is no comparison. It's a very modern for its genre, well performed, well produced track. Arilana is a superstar. I was looking at it based on Instagram stats. If she was at Eurovision 2019, the only person with more followers than her on Instagram would have been Sergei Lazarev. So, like, she is by no means a small fish in the pool. Like, she's a star. She's won X Factor. She's now a coach on The Voice. She is at Eurovision and she means business.
Yeah, when we did the Wee Jury, this song wasn't in my top five. I remember listening to it and thinking, oh, that's nice. But it wasn't until I saw the semi-final live performance that it was like, okay, she brings more to it, even more to it live. She's a really compelling performer. She looks great. She has a really strong, expressive voice. And her the costume she wore, like, everyone was like, what is going on with that? I don't know if we'll see the same thing at Eurovision or maybe something along the same lines, but there's definitely a full package there. You could say the same about other songs, but I can absolutely see the appeal of this for the jury. It reminds me of I get this nostalgic feeling like maybe Eurovision 2012, 2013, just the sort of ballads that we saw from that era. And I don't mean it's old-fashioned sounding, but it just has a kind of maybe a classic feel to it rather than something that's like a bleeding-edge contemporary hit. And yeah, I think it will do well. And it's something that can work with Albanian lyrics. It doesn't need to be translated to English to have the same impact.
Yes, I'm going to quickly read some of the lyrics in English. I want to swear every time I can't hold. I'm assuming you. I hold tears and it pulls me slowly. I want to murder it, kill it, that thing that I can't share or separate. And it makes me feel guilty. There is something else in me groaning to scream. Girl is feeling the pain. And that came across on the stage. The sharp spikes contrasted with her very feminine face, her very blonde, gorgeous Miss Universe hair. It's a nice contrast. I think Robin's spot on this it's not dated. It is vintage in a way. It harks back to a classic era, and this works well with an orchestra. I think that might have been an element here with the jury, that there was a live orchestra in the room, and this song really fit the orchestra. Whereas a song like Metana from Elvana, the fan favorite, that's a pop song. Pop songs don't work as well with orchestras, but she still did an amazing job. Erdi Tajiki, a wiwiblogger, and Diego Pinpa actually interviewed Christer Bjorkman, one of the three jurors, and he said, quote, and this is after the second semifinal, he said, I have two favorites, two standouts.
I do have two really standout favorites.
Different songs have different temperatures. Some, like upbeat songs, you react to instantly. Others, it takes time to grow on you like a ballad. Now, I wonder what he could have been talking about. It just seems like a very direct assessment. And my fear is that at Eurovision, you need a song that's immediate. Elvana's performance, while not as polished as Arilena's, had more potential in my mind at Eurovision with nips and tweaks. Which brings us to this question. The Elvana-Arilena debate, where do you stand?
Well, I think it's a missed opportunity for Albania to do something different, because it's been a long time since we've had an entry from them that's not been either a female ballad or a male rocker. And we have to go all the way back to 2009 and 2010, which seems like a lifetime ago. And I think that they had a once in a lifetime opportunity to go with the biggest pop star in the country, because if you ignore the likes of Dua Lipa and BB Rexa and Rita Ora, they're the diaspora, they're of Albanian descent, or they left when they were very young, the next best thing is Elvana Gjata. And she, like in her interview with Erdi, she was saying that this year was the year that she wanted to do it. Next year she has an album, she was touring some other time. I don't think she's going to come back again. And the thing is, people were saying Metana, it paled when you compare it to Eleni Ferreira's Fuego earlier tonight. But I think Metana, and I think the same thing might happen with Shaj, because the thing is, Arilana is a very big pop star too, but I think the DL syndrome, or DL, however you pronounce it, syndrome might kick in, where El Haida Dani, all of a sudden the songwriters were like, oh, we're taking off the rights, because El Haida Dani was a big name too, and her song wasn't that good, and it was swapped out. But yeah, I think Elvana, I think she would have been great, just the publicity she would have brought, and just the energy, and just, it's always nice to have like a big superstar at Eurovision. It kind of elevates the whole show as a whole.
Yeah, the big criticism about Maitana is that it was 3 minutes 40, and it would had to have been needed to have been cut down for Eurovision. There was a sense that it was maybe a bit meandering, and that it probably would have benefited from being cut down, but we don't know what that cut down version would have been like. It might have been worse. So there's this sort of unknown quantity of how actually would that have worked with Eurovision. The other thing is, people have been comparing it to 2016 with Poland, where Michał Szpak won and took the win from the favourite Margaret. And when you think about it, that was still really good for her career. She did Melody Festivali a couple of times. Call Me Down is still one of those enduring favourites in the Eurovision fan community. And Michał got a really good result for Poland that year. It was like third in the televote or something. It was one of Poland's best results in recent years. So will we see the same thing happen here? It's hard to tell, but I don't think, even if you're sad that Elvana didn't get through, it's not necessarily a bad thing for Albania.
Yeah, and I think we should point out that overall the staging at Festivali Kenges this year was really quite good. They've really turned a corner, and I think if her staging looks this good now, I think that come Rotterdam they could have something even more innovative. She seemed to be like steering a spaceship. All the lights created a battle galactic intergalaxy. You know what I'm saying? I don't watch those movies. Intergalactic kind of storm ship, if that exists, and she was steering that ship, and it looked amazing. I'm sad that we're not going to have an ethnic banger. Kejsi Tola, she seems so long ago now. What was that, 2009? I really miss upbeat ethno-Albanian, and they clearly do it very, very well. I think Porig is right. These big names are not going to come back a second time. Elvana handled it beautifully. You know, she received second place with open arms. She was very smiley, but she wanted this, and to many people, she deserved it. But look, Arilena, it's all about you now. I too think a DL situation might be beneficial. I think that she's proven her voice with DL, and I think the voice won the jurors paired with the orchestra. But the song is maybe less high impact than she deserves. Final thoughts.
I wouldn't be surprised if Albania is singing English this year, because when you look at the composers list, she shares a composer with Tamara Tedesco's, the man who co-wrote Proud. And unless he is secretly very good at Albanian, I imagine that there was some English influence in the creation of that song.
Shout out to Darko Dimitrov. We love you, Robin.
Yeah, I get the same feeling too, that there might be some secret English lyrics. Like, you could easily swap out any other one-syllable powerful English word in the chorus and it would fit. You know, like I said, it would still work with Albanian. It could work with a blend of English and Albanian, or it could work with entirely English lyrics. It will be really interesting to see what they come up with when, like, I'm sure there'll be some kind of revamp, because they always do that, even if it's the songs within 3 minutes. But yeah, I'm hopeful for this. I think it's a decent choice, and yeah, Albania should expect to get into the grand final this year.
The one thing about the staging that I wasn't so huge a big fan of was at the end with the violin and then the violin exploding. Having just read the lyrics, I don't see how that connects to the violin exploding. Because when I was watching, I was like, is she singing about a broken string? Like, what is the situation?
But one thing I think what Arilana has that some other Albanians such as Hirsi Matmuja and Lindita Halimi didn't have is she has a big record label and she has big management, and they're not going to want their act to go over and flounder in the semis. And I imagine that there would be money pumped in to guarantee that she has a respectable finish, and they'll be pushing to get her into the grand final, because she's not just like a local star. She's on the verge of internationalism, just like Albana. She's just like this much behind her in terms of Instagram followers and international appeal. And she even had a radio hit in Romania and Russia a few years ago. So I think there'll be a push for her to elevate.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about Jonita Malici, how she had a very out there ethnic song, and it was that out there ethnic element that kind of caught you and was gripping. And this doesn't seem to have an ethnic element, because if you change the language, it could be from any country. And I guess that's my biggest reservation. But she does it beautifully, and I am not a hater at all. I'm looking forward to seeing how they reshape this. In any case, that's what we think. What do you think? Is Arilena, not to be confused with Ariana Grande, your winner? Let us know here on wiwibloggs.
Is she your number one of the season so far? She's mine. And make sure to subscribe.
And tell us what you think in the comments down below.
We will see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Fellow Derek.
Bye.